Alright, how's it going everybody? Dylan K. Johnson here. Welcome back to another training log. Today we're going to be covering the max effort lower body and upper body days from week 10 of this 12-week conjugate based program that I'm currently running. So today we're going to be hitting a 1 rep max with the variation being sumo stance, double pause deadlifts. So you see here I'm working up to the first kind of max effort pull there. That was at 160 kg. Went pretty smooth, so I decided to throw on another 10 kg, go for another little up there, and this one went up. A little bit of a grinder, but I probably could have gone a little heavier. That was where I called it though. 170 kg for a nice solid double pause single, and with that, that's about 375 pounds, so not too shabby considering that I traditionally pull conventional. And so sumo, I have pulled sumo like around 415, I think is my sumo like all-time 1 rep max, but for me it's just I don't particularly like sumo. I prefer conventional. It's just something about it. It feels more natural to me with the leverages and everything. So yeah, it is what it is. Maybe if I get like an actual deadlift bar and my deadlift starts getting up above like 600 pounds, I might switch over to sumo, see if I can pull a little bit more, but we'll see. For now, I'm sticking with conventional. Anyway, after the 1 rep max, drop the weight down to 80% and hit an AMRAP set, followed by 4 triples. So again, sticking with the sumo double pause, as you can see, just going through the volume work for today and really just trying to, again, keep the intensity high, keeping the rest period moderately low, like around like 60 seconds to 90 seconds, enough to allow myself to fully recover, but also still giving myself enough time to, or keeping the rest time minimal enough to keep the intensity high. I don't want to be resting too long because I am trying to stick to a nice kind of quicker workout here. So after this, then we're going to move into the rest of my leg workout. But like I said, hit about 4 or 5 sets of triples here after an AMRAP at 80% of that 1 rep max. So this was the main compound movement, main heavy movement for today. And yeah, it pretty much smoked me. So after that, I moved into some sandbags. With this, what I like to do, because I don't have like a sandbag loading platform or anything, or anything like that really, I just take my safety straps on my rack here and I set them up to just about chest height, maybe a little bit higher, is a little bit low, and I just basically do up and over. Just pick them up off the ground, same thing you would do with like an Atlas stone, and just load them up and over and just go around and repeat that around like 5 to 8 times, or as many reps as possible, and then I'll do like 3 sets of that. And I actually, on this last set here, decided to go up to the 150-pound sandbag, which I have, and that one's a bit tougher. I've been working a lot with the 100-pound sandbag and I really like it, but the 150, that's a pretty big jump in weight, and I was only able to get like 2 reps with that guy. So I'll have to kind of slowly work my way into using that more, maybe do some just like sandbag pickups, things like that. So we'll see. Really enjoy using the sandbags though, and especially like doing like heavy carries with them when the weather's nice and I'm able to actually like walk up and down the driveway. But anyway, after that, moved into some work for the quads. So these are just sissy squats. Essentially, I'm taking a heavy band that I'm not able to like, I'm able to really lean my weight into it and not have it flex and let me fall down. And I've got it basically braced right behind my knees, simulating something like a sissy squat machine, so that my from my knee to my ankle, basically my shin, is staying as vertical as possible, and then I'm basically just squatting down and back. This is putting all the load onto my quads, and this is a great movement to kind of isolate the quads, similar to, say, like a leg extension. It's a very similar type of range of motion, but being in a home gym, I don't have access to a lot of equipment, so you got to make do with what you have. After that, I finished it off with just some belt squats here. Again, going kind of wider stance and just going for a little bit of extra volume, trying to just burn the legs out. Nothing too crazy, especially as I'm getting into these last couple weeks of my programming. My volume and my accessory volume in particular is starting to back off quite a bit. So starting to focus more on just getting as heavy as possible on my compound or my max effort days. Same thing on my dynamic effort days. You guys will see we're getting pretty heavy there, up into like around the 70 to 75% range in the next couple of weeks. So pretty much keeping my accessory and assistance movements, well, I'm still keeping them intense and still keeping them. I'm trying to treat them more as an assistance and accessory movement as opposed to treating them more like hypertrophy work. So really trying to back off on that volume a little bit and just focus more on getting the movements in and keeping the intensity high with them. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below in the comments. But we're moving into the next day. So this is going to be the max effort upper body day. And as you can see, we are starting off with a bit of a warm-up here. So I've got my DIY earthquake bar, which again, if you guys haven't seen the video, I'll throw a link to it up in the cards. I did a whole video on how you guys can build one of these for like 15 bucks, which is a hell of a lot cheaper than going out and buying an earthquake bar or a bamboo bar for around 300. So I highly recommend checking it out. This thing is a very, very fun and interesting piece of equipment to use. Really like using it for warming up. And it's also just great to kind of work the chest, shoulders, pretty much any muscle group you want to work with this in just a different fashion. It adds a lot of instability, and it really helps when you're going pretty light, like I am kind of here, to kind of warm everything up, get the muscles primed and ready for a nice solid warm up or a nice solid working session. And one thing that I am having to do here, as you can see, is pretty much just loading it with anything that I have around the gym. I don't really want to load my calibrated plates onto it because the plates and the chains are all hitting each other. I don't really want to ding them up. They are plates, but I still like the cosmetics of them. They're nice looking, so I don't really want to get them all trashed. So I started using whatever I had around the gym, basically just loaded up my Iron Master dumbbells and used them as some extra weight. But anyway, like I said, did about 3 sets there, around 8 to 12 reps per set, just warming everything up before moving into a long pause, close grip bench. That's going to be the max effort for today. No accommodating resistance. Just going to be focusing on sinking into the bottom of the rep, pausing for about a 3 count, 1, 2, 3, and pressing. So anywhere from like a 2 to 4 count was kind of my idea for this movement, and just really focusing on that pause at the bottom, basically stopping all momentum and then just driving all the way back up through it as quickly as possible. With this, again, working up to a heavy 1 rep max for the day, which, let's see, I believe this was the 1 rep max. So this is 20, 40, 60, 110 kg, which is, what's that, like 242, 244 pounds, something like that. Somewhere around 244, 245 pounds, I think. So that was the 1 rep max for today, which, just considering that I don't have any accommodating resistance, that's approximately a 20-pound PR over my previous 1 rep max on just standard pause bench. So considering it was a bit of a longer pause, I am feeling pretty damn good about testing my 1 rep max here. Actually, I'll be doing it this coming week from when you guys are seeing this video, because right now I'm about 2 weeks behind on the videos due to the holidays and everything. But yeah, like I said, pretty excited to test where my 1 rep max is going to be at for bench. It's definitely been one of those movements that has been feeling really good throughout this program. And my goal, my hope, is to get up to, what was it, 265, I believe, is 2 reds on each side. So yeah, that's kind of my goal. Going from basically it would be 2 blues to 2 reds is my goal for this cycle. And I think I can get there. It's going to be tight. It's going to be pretty damn hard. But with how I'm feeling this past week, after taking a slight deload this week, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to hit it. Anyway, after I hit that 1 rep max there, drop down to 80% again, hit an AMRAP, and then hit again, same thing, 4 or 5 sets of triples before moving into a little bit of accessory movements. With this is one of my favorite accessory movements for bench. This is something that I've never actually done before I really got this bar, and they are called JM presses. So I like to think of it as kind of a cross between a close grip bench between a close grip bench and a skull crusher, and using a safety squat bar, which you can see I'm using here, I am able to actually allow it to guide the movement path a little bit easier, which keeps my shoulders and elbows in a little bit safer position, but it also allows me to focus on the muscle that I'm trying to target, which is my triceps. So if you guys have access to an SSB like the one I'm using here, which is the Titan version 2, the Elite FTS yoke bar also works really well. Basically an SSB where you can remove the handles, so you've just got the padding. It works really well for this movement. Otherwise, you can try and go through and simulate it using just a standard barbell. It's pretty close to the same. It just is a little bit harder to maintain the range of motion. And personally, I like using the SSB a lot better. Just locks you into that range of motion and into the movement a little bit more, and allows me to focus on isolating the muscle that I'm trying to hit. I'm also able to go a little bit heavier because of that. So yeah, one of my favorite accessory movements for triceps. Then moved into some just standard incline bench here. With this, I was doing a kind of pump set. So you'll notice that I'm doing like 3 reps where I'm focusing on the lower portion of the motion, or no, let's see, 1, 2, full rep. Yeah, so essentially I'm doing, at the bottom of the range of motion, I'm doing 2 pumps and then I complete the rep. And I do this for around 10 total reps. So 2 pumps and then press, that's 1 rep. So essentially I'm doing it 10 times. Just a fun kind of different way to change things up, add a little bit of a pump into the end of the movement, and yeah, it was just something I felt like doing. After that, hit some bent over barbell rows, just trying to work my way up to a little bit heavier weight. I haven't done these in a while, so just kind of making sure that I'm locked in and doing them, focusing on my lats. Underhand grip for me, it's always been something that's like, I feel the movement in my lats more. I probably should be doing an overhand grip, because what I'm trying to do is strengthen the antagonistic muscles to my bench. So in order to do that, I should probably switch it to an overhand grip and mimic my bench grip as much as possible, and that'll help to work those antagonistic muscles. But yeah, that was it for today's workout and these max effort days. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, yeah. For the record.